The House of Representatives is preparing to vote on a bill that would protect same-sex and interracial marriage.
This comes amid concerns the Supreme Court could revisit other landmark decisions after overturning Roe v. Wade. CBS 2's Dick Brennan here now with more. Dick?
Well, Maurice and Christine, the bill is called the Respect for Marriage Act and will likely pass the House. The question, will it get any Republican support? Because the bill would most likely be blocked in the Senate. As abortion rights advocates and Democratic lawmakers continue to protest the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the House is set to vote to protect same-sex and interracial marriages.
Imagine telling the next generation of Americans, my generation, that we no longer have the right to marry who we love. Congress can't allow that to happen.
The bill is called the Respect for Marriage Act and will force both Republicans and Democrats to be put on the record on a high-profile social issue.
And every member of Congress will get to stand and be counted today, and you can choose between equality or discrimination.
Many now fear the conservative court could revisit other landmark decisions. In fact, Senator Ted Cruz believes the 2015 Obergefell ruling that legalized same-sex marriage across the country should be overturned.
Look, Obergefell, like Roe versus Wade, ignored 2 centuries of our nation's history. Marriage was always an issue that was left to the states.
But Democrats called Cruz's logic absurd.
You can't be married in Texas and not be married in New York, or vice versa. You can't lose your marriage status by crossing a state line.
Democrats note that Justice Clarence Thomas suggested in his concurring opinion that the court should reconsider past precedent, including same-sex marriage and access to contraception. But Republicans say the majority opinion did not go that far.
This bill is simply the latest installment of the Democrats' campaign to delegitimize and attempt to intimidate the United States Supreme Court.
Now, there's been bipartisan support expressed for family planning. House Democrats say they will put Republicans on the record later this week with a vote on guaranteeing access to contraceptive services. Maurice.
Okay, Dick, thank you.
Late today, lawmakers on the Hill voted to protect same-sex marriage under federal law. It passed in the House with support from every Democrat and 47 Republicans. Later this week, the House gets set to vote on the Right to Contraception Act. That bill would protect access to birth control. The Supreme Court rulings, Obergefell versus Hodges and Griswold versus Connecticut, currently protect both same-sex marriage and contraception. But when the court overturned Roe v. Wade last month, the conservative Justice Clarence Thomas wrote a concurring opinion, and in it, he said the justices should consider those cases as well. Well, now Democrats say lawmakers must pass national laws that protect those rights, same-sex marriage and contraception access. Republicans argue Democrats are using the issues for show since the Supreme Court has not moved to reconsider them. It's unclear whether the bills could even pass in the 50-50 Senate. 10 Republicans would have to join all of the Democrats.
For the Respect for Marriage Act, bipartisan and bicameral legislation to enshrine into law a fundamental freedom, the right to marry whomever you choose. As radical justices and right-wing politicians continue their assault on our basic rights, Democrats believe that the government has no place between you and the person you love.
The Speaker of the House just said, quote, Republicans knew Defense of Marriage Act was unconstitutional when they passed it. Did the 118 Democrats who voted for that legislation know the same thing? Did the President of the United States, President Clinton, when he signed it into law, did he know it was unconstitutional? The chairman of the full committee is right. This legislation would, in fact, codify Obergefell. But what it would also do is reverse the law in 35 states where those states have said marriage should be traditional marriage. In fact, in 30 of those 35 states, the people of those respective states went to the ballot and voted for that.
Today, we're going to vote for the Respect for Marriage Act to decide and to make clear whether or not we will go back. Whether or not every American, despite their race or their sexuality, has the freedom to marry the person they love. It's a simple choice. And I know where I stand. And every member of Congress will get to stand and be counted today, and you can choose between equality or discrimination.
Yeas are 267, and the nays are 157. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here.